Welcome to Brain Soup, the podcast that stirs up the latest innovations, trends, and breakthroughs in the world of technology. We're your hosts, Cal Miller,
Ryan Shazadi,
Fernando Mogel,
and we're here to serve you a bowl of curiosity, one episode at a time. Let's dive into the flavorful world of technology in your weekly dose of Brain Soup.
Cool. I figure, we'll get the liquid, I guess, pouring into the brain here.
Oh, y'all got drinks?
Some coffee fee.
cheers.
Strange.
Okay, so I guess we'll get off to the speed round, where I'll be discussing Dungeons and Dragons. Kind of, in a way that I understand it. So, I
Preface this. When did you start playing Dungeons and Dragons for the first time?
I don't even know if I'd call... I mean, it is very similar, Dungeons and Dragons. I've been playing this game. I started with this game called For the King.
Oh, God. And so, like, dice rolling Dungeons and Dragons, not video games.
Yeah, only the video games. I've never done. I've asked to do Dungeons and Dragons. I've just never been invited to the group. I'm not that cool.
Okay.
It'd be nice to play. I would love to play the role-playing version, like, where you're actually doing it. Because, like, I know you guys get cards and stuff. Like, it's cool how the cool part for me and, like, For the King and, like, Baldur's Gate and stuff, which I just recently kind of started getting into, was that basically you have this character sheet, which you've always mentioned, but I never really known what it actually kind of entailed.
Like with the stats?
Yeah, with your stats and, like, adding, like, if you get a mage, like, in Baldur's Gate, it's a ridiculous, like, amount of customization. Like, you can do the subcategories, like, what kind of healing you do, or if you're a mage who does this, or a swordsman who does that, or if you're one-handed this, whatever. All that kind of stuff, which is really cool. You can even customize your character down to, like, the nitty-gritty, really, really nitty-gritty. I'm not even going to go how far you can go. You can go very far with customization. But basically, even, like, I mean, it's super good graphics, too. But For the King is, like, a little step down from that, where you just kind of choose a character, and the character is a mage, this, and it comes with the pre-selected stats, instead of, like, being able to kind of scale them out into a direction you want to take the game. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, and it kind of had me thinking about things Cal has said in the past, where he kind of relates this almost character sheet to ways you can gamify processes, games, stuff like that, by taking this information that's already kind of inherent in your character or your design or your element that you're creating. So there's just a ton of directions you can go off of, like, a character sheet alone, just knowing that exists. Like, me seeing it visually, like, and understanding now, okay, so if I did this manually, like, and I actually wrote this character sheet out, I mean, dude, like, there's a lot of directions you can take that in a lot of different applications. I mean, for example, an application being, let's say, something to where you're trying to hit a certain target market. You have these variables. So, like, what do you build into this initial platform that's going to do the thing that you want it to do or capture the audience the way you want to capture them? It's psychology, but at the end of the day, it's like the same kind of thing. You're filling your character up. You're filling your program up. You're doing these things. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, so I kind of rushed through that really quick because we had a time limit, and I'm actually ahead. So, I just thought it was super interesting, and I haven't really been super well-versed in D&D. I think it's cool, but yeah, I'd love to hear more from the comment section on the cool experience you've had playing, if you have, and also on the For the King side. Does anybody else play other than me? Like, I haven't seen anybody online, so like, yeah, there's that. But definitely check it out. I guess, guys, do you have anything to add there? I think it's a pretty cool topic, but
you got it in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those games where they created such simple game mechanics that could just be, expanded on, and that's, I think, one of the keys to like universal games or platforms, like very simple basic mechanics, but that you can like expand on them. They're modular, they're simple to understand, but then you can like expand, like, chess or
Easy to play, hard to master.
Yeah, exactly. Which made Dungeons and Dragons brilliant. You create like a whole entire universe, and I mean, when it comes down to it, the mechanics are very simple, but you can expand endlessly.
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy.
And you don't need much, You don't need much.
And it's also like the creation of the team too. Like when you're putting the team together, when you're putting each person's like what the
party
playing. Yeah, the party. Yeah, the real words. The party, or LFG, like, what is this?
Looking for group,
which is the OG like Dungeons and Dragons squad stuff. But Yeah, I mean, it's just cool. Like each person adds that element that takes you to the next state, right? I mean, like
Just like a business.
just like
right? Like
boom.
how you have the different
You know?
pieces in your business that create like the product or like the different things like that. You know, you have like your, in a sense, you have your, I don't know, even, all right. So not just like For the King, right? So if any of you all played like League of Legends, League of Legends follows this very same concept of like you have like what's called like a carry, which in like World of Warcraft you'd call that DPS, right? Damage per second. Carriers are the ones that do damage. And so even in like For the King or whatever, like damage per second characters are like people that are just designed to do like damage per second. It's typically used in like action, more like your action role playings, but it's kind of like your standard kind of like damage characters are like glass cannons where like they can't take a lot of damage, you know, but they fill one role. And then you have like in For the King, you have your like kind of like, I wouldn't say like tank characters, but you do have tanks. And League of Legends follows the same thing, along with like World of Warcraft, Ether Quest and stuff.
And tanks are like heavy hitting.
No, tanks are usually ones that take a bunch of damage but do very little damage back. But they have a lot of survival skills that allow them to do things longer. They don't usually support other players. That's more of like what you would call like a support character or something like that, or utility. But like so like in business, we don't exactly have like the same names, but you can kind of look at it like under certain things. Like if you want to say like in perspective, like sales is kind of like your carry. Right, like your sales are like the ones that kind of carry the company and like the money coming in and stuff like that. Your tanks are like the ones who kind of go in, you know, like lighten the load when they first go in, break, you know, maybe like get the lead, you know, brings things in, take the first, maybe they're the, you know, the ones that take the brunt of the stuff in the very beginning or something like that. They could also be, you could say the tank would also maybe be like a product manager or like a manager style person on a team where they're the ones willing to go and take the like brunt of like the damage or like the, you know, they deal with the damage control per se, while everyone else is really putting out the fire for them. They let everyone know what to do, and they kind of go in and like set it, and then everyone does their jobs to make sure it goes out. And usually, like, I mean, anybody on any kind of team for D&D or like For the King or like League of Legends, anybody could be the leader, or like kind of like the manager or like product manager or something, right? It's not like kind of like how it is in business where you have a specific person that probably has that role.
Yeah.
They can kind of like shift it out who's probably like better in that, like, oh, I know how to do, you know, like you might be really good at leading a team in like League of Legends because you understand like fast-paced movement or stuff like that. And I could be better at a team leading it where like in the line style combat like you like for the King, where my skill set is understanding like the map and the stuff behind the scenes where you can take time to think stuff. So like just like those games, your teams all work off of really filling in their roles, and one person can change who you need for someone else. So
No, I'm tracking exactly. It'd be interesting if like the companies and stuff actually, you know, took this data and created character sheets for them. I mean, kind of in KPIs, it's like something, but it's like not all the way. Like it's not fully robust, nor is there an algorithm between these different, you know, objectives or you know obstacles you overcome.
give me like 30 seconds of your wrap up, and I have something about that.
No, go ahead.
So Fernando needs his like time to talk, right?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I added a bit on that, but really, it's funny because my first entry into Dungeons and Dragons was, I would see the books, you know, like with all the creatures and the stats, and I would buy them just because I loved the art, I loved the creatures. I didn't even know what the game was or anything. I never played it, but I had like 3 or 4 of those books that I would like to, you know, look through.
Oh wow!
And then later, when I was touring with Barney, my tutor, because there was 4 kids on the tour, and we had a private tutor, like who he was basically our teacher on the road, and he was into Dungeons and Dragons. I was 9 at the time, and so he got us into like playing, and he was like the dungeon master, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, so that was kind of the time I got a chance to, you know, play with that. I never really got into it more like down the line, but I think it's a brilliant. It's a platform. It's not just a game. It's a platform.
Really
Great games are platforms. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, before you do your last wrap up, real quick, I would say like one of the most important things I think you noticed like when you were like looking at the character sheets and you were talking about character sheets and like stats and skills and stuff, is if you notice for most part, I feel like in video games, D&D or like For the King, like each skill kind of has like a specific reason to be there, and there's almost nothing on your character sheet that is there that would be like extra, right? Like they leave that for what's called like your bio, and in like D&D you have this like little like sections. There's like, oh, write whatever you want, fill it in with whatever, but everything else they put is actually something that's used in the game. And I feel like if you think about it from business profiles, a lot of times the businesses use I feel like have so much extra information that's such crap information that we put in there that they really don't utilize, and so people feel like filling in a profile isn't as valuable. However, filling in a character sheet, it feels like everything is of value, and I feel like that is the difference a lot of the times. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but there's just a feeling of what's on your character sheet is needed, while sometimes you have a feeling of profiles. What is on your profiles is just there, or like extra. Why are you even asking me for this? What are you doing with this? You don't ask the questions in games when you understand how the game's played.
Also, for our viewers, I think they might be interested to take a look at your beautiful art.
They're notes. It's notes. It's jerk.
Oh, because I saw like it.
Yeah.
All right, do you want your final 2 minutes to talk about it?
Sure. So yeah, we discussed D&D here in this first segment, which I think is something that people should look into if you don't already know, just to understand the character sheet, understand how everything kind of ties together, understand the game, understand how it fits into that, because that's the same thing you can apply to a lot of other things that I didn't even realize. That I can see that if you start to think about things in that direction, it could add value, it could inspire you, it could do something. I don't know. It definitely inspired me to understand how things can work together a little bit better and a little bit more cohesively as you build teams and as you build units. That if you build a team, you want them to act as, I don't want to say this line, but you want to basically act as a unit. You don't want them to just act as individual members. You want them to work together towards the common goal and objective that you're set.
You should go to there's like a game cafe called Coral Sword. Well, there's a few, but Coral Sword, and they have Dungeons and Dragons tournaments.
No way.
You just go. You have
Here?
your it's here in Houston. Like it's not too far. It's like 15 minutes away from here, Lion.
Not bad.
Yeah. We like going there, like with the group, and we play other games, but it's a nice little spot.
Dude, that's
Chill.
interesting. Yeah,
Coral Sword.
I'll let you guys up.
You can tag them.
We'll go.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll tag Coral Sword. It sounds like a cool spot for sure. I used to have this place next to me in Cyprus called the Dragon's Lair.
It's still there.
It's still there? Yeah, I used to go in there a little bit because I lived literally behind it.
Dragon's Lair is real quick. We only have a short amount of time.
Okay.
Dragon's Lair is actually one of the neat kind of tabletop game stores. So they're one of the few franchises.
Oh, really?
So actually, if you go to any kind of Dragon's Lair across anywhere in Texas, every Dragon's Lair will be very similar with items they sell and stuff. While it might focus a little bit more in their community, like what's more sold. You kind of get people who are somewhat educated, at least on the sales style or what the products do. They do have white sheets and stuff like that next to their products. They're like QR codes for you to be able to scan. So they're actually one of the few corporate things that really, I think, helps out a small industry.
Gotcha. I didn't even know that. It was a friend. That's pretty cool.
Cool. We got 2 shout-outs now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Next.
So I guess next, we'll do what? Question?
Yeah, I'm
Question,
ready.
and
Yeah.
we'll save Fernando's reading radius. We're still trying to figure it out, right?
Reading.
We don't have corners.
Reading.
Well, put some comments in
Reading
if
light
you have any
spectrum.
suggestions for that.
All right. Let's see.
Or maybe each episode will have a different title.
I like
to
that.
it,
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
Keeps me on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. All right. So just saw these questions, even though they were drawn on. We'll go with, what's the most bizarre tech gadget or app you've ever come across that made you wonder, why does this even exist? We'll start with Ryan.
Okay. Tech that should not even be there. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is when I was a kid, and they had those little guns that didn't make any sounds, but they all just lighted up. And you're just shooting outside and dies in a few minutes, and you're just with this useless weapon that you thought would be cool, or the ones that would make fun sounds and stuff. And you're just after a while playing with it, you're okay, this is cool. I mean, you pull the button and it lights up. That's cool.
Like a light up gun, or the laser guns you would
Oh
laser
no,
tag
the
with?
light up with the side that lights up when you shoot it, stuff like that. That was pretty interesting. I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't even get it. I was just what? I mean. I don't know. I like BB guns and airsoft guns and stuff. So. This was not a lot. This was in Abu Dhabi where I got most of my light up guns. This is what they loved over there for some reason. When I was a kid over there, they loved giving these little trinkets, light up guns, and then the fans that would have lights on them, the fans that they used to keep pulling you down, the little mini fans, but they had the lights went around and I don't know.
Yeah.
That always seemed really useless. because you used it for a function, and then you're just kind of throwing lights on it and be like, oh, it's cooler now. You can buy it from this vendor here. It's got lights.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just popped. I mean, yeah.
That's an interesting question.
All right, so Fernando.
You want to go next?
No, I can go next, but I was going to reread you the question, but I can go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so what's the most bizarre tech gadget or app I've ever come across?
Or app.
Or app that you've come across that made you wonder, why does this even exist? So I would say, I guess kind of low-hanging fruit, somewhat showing my age, per se, is I remember when the iPhone first came out, and there was this app called I Am Rich.
Oh.
And it was a $900 app. It was like $900 or like $999. And it was just a red circle app. And it just was like on your app thing. And it was just a big red circle. And you would press it. And it would just pull up a screen. And when you press, it was a red circle on your app screen. So it goes from that to your screen. And you just press it and it just says like, I am rich. Or it would say like, you are rich. And all it was, like, I didn't get it. Like, I didn't get it for the longest time. And then I feel like I finally got it, right? It all made sense to me when I started understanding this whole crypto world, and when I had a tabletop game store for a while, and I started understanding like the true value of collectability. The I Am Rich app, as weird as it sounds, I had no idea, but maybe it was just an app designed to show off to other people that you were willing to spend $1,000 on something that meant nothing. It's like the people that pour out the bottles of alcohol for no reason in the bars to show that they have the money. Like, or the people that drive the cars, I guess, and wreck them and then just leave them in the deserts or whatever. Like, it's just an app that just says you are rich. But maybe there was a point. Maybe the whole point was just for people to, like,
Cloud.
show other, like, and you'd have to show anybody. If you just saw the app on your phone, they'd be like, man, that person's rich. Like, and the only way to get it was taken off the Apple store, and I think that was solely because they didn't do the freemium version. They would have started out with a free version that you just kept upgrading each time. They would have been in like sin before freemium was freemium. So they missed their mark. Way to go, Sears, not Amazon.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. It has no point, but it does kind of have a point.
There is no point. There's no.
Yeah. All right, Fernando. What's the most bizarre tech gadget or app you've ever come across that made you wonder, why does this even exist?
Well, interesting. We already talked about the AI pin last time, so I'll just mention it as like a maybe. Like I want to see where that goes, but other than that, maybe, and I think this is a '90s thing, the Furby.
Hold on. Everybody knows why that exists.
Well, yeah, but that's an
Hold up.
Yeah. But you know, it brings up the because it's almost like a fad that keeps coming back. You know, the Tamagotchis, the Furbies, the little robot dogs. You know, when back in the day when you saw these little robot dogs, like, wow, we're living in the future.
Doesn't that go too close to the like movie?
And
Gremlins?
I think
Yeah.
that,
Sorry.
you know, because it's almost like, I don't know, we have this fascination for taking care of you know, things, and I mean, I don't, because it's similar maybe to pets, but it's also this idea of like a digital pet, or you know, something digital that you like the Tamagotchis, and the like the little robot
That's
dogs.
I
Kind
had
of
a
like,
robot dog.
yeah, I had
Tamagotchis are
one
back.
too.
You don't
Tamagotchis
Yeah,
are back. There's
yeah.
an
It
app.
had a
There's an
face
app.
where it had lights on its face, and it would.
Yeah.
I wanted one of those so bad when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
I remember those.
But Tamagotchis are back. There's an app. There's a legit app.
Yeah,
that's like
no,
exactly like it.
I've seen
it
that.
washes it, gets sad, it dies.
Yeah.
But hey, if it actually dies, you can just pay like $1 or $2 and revive it, unless you have a coupon or revive coupon or whatever it is, and then you can revive it without.
Because those came on those little devices, right?
Yeah, but instead now it's an app, and like even on like Apple, they have like front screen things so you can see.
Well,
the
and
health
there's
of
little
it.
apps too. There's like little apps where like you have a
that's
creature and
bad.
you try to take care of it or something. So I don't know. It's like this. Just innate thing in us, in humans, like the idea of taking care of someone else or something else, but also like the tech side, like a tech kind of pet. And I think closer and closer we'll get to that point where, it'll be, because those robot dogs, they just had like, different responses to certain triggers, and it wasn't really like anything
so
special.
Bad. I remember that.
But we'll eventually, and pretty soon, I think even now, like something like that will be a lot more sophisticated in terms of its interaction. But the Furbies, gosh, like after a while, I wanted to take off the battery.
Do you remember McDonald's were giving those away?
Oh God, no. Huh?
Do y'all remember when McDonald's was giving those away?
Yeah, the little clip-on keychain Furbies.
No, I got a legit one from McDonald's.
Really?
Man. Yeah, I was in France or something at the time.
No, it can't be like the full.
Oh no, I got
ones.
no. It had like the bottom piece. You put like a metal piece to it. It would make sounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Over here they were giving out
They were giving Tamagotchis too. Yeah. Here they were giving the keychain ones that weren't real. They just had like the popping eyes that they did different like.
Overseas, they give better toys.
Apparently, they got a whole Furby.
Apparently, yeah.
And they had like the Tamagotchis too that they were giving, like not the full Tamagotchis, but like they had different mechanisms or whatever.
Yeah.
So like you said, I kind of understand why they exist, but
But
why?
Yeah. No, I get that too. Like that's how I felt when I got it as a toy. I was like, what do I? I mean, it's cool.
You can comment on that.
All right, we have the final 2 minutes. Do you want to share?
Gremlins was a fun movie.
I'm thinking, all right, it was all mentioned in your one thing. Furbies. Plus, think about the AI pin you were just talking about, right? We put a little AI inside the Furby. A little chat GPT, little guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's like an Alexa, but with a little
Furby.
body.
And then you could put two Furbies
that gets
together.
hungry. Imagine Alexa getting
But
hungry.
you put the
and
two
having to feed
Furbies
Alexa.
together and they talk, but now you have two AI Furbies talking instead of like
Oh my gosh, I remember something. What? You just brain blasted me back
scripted
there.
AI, bro. Like, think about it.
What was that thing?
Yeah, that would be yeah. Like Alexa, you just bring Alexa into a Furby body.
Just there's no screen yet. It's just
Like toys?
Hey Alexa,
with the mouth and everything. And did you attach it to a Roomba?
Furby, come over here.
Furby.
and as it goes to you, it cleans the.
Your dog doesn't talk. I'm sorry, my Furby does.
Oh, those dogs! I remember
My
the dogs.
Furby.
They would flip.
I have a
They
few
did
I
fur
did that
babies.
one.
Oh, okay.
I have a few fur babies.
I love that.
You have
dogs?
dogs? No, I have two Furbies.
Oh, Furbies or fur babies?
Fur babies. What do you call your Furbies?
Well, not Furbies. I got
Oh, you-
traumatized by the Furbies. I could see it in the middle of the
So I
night,
call
and like
them fur
suddenly
babies.
started
It's
talking.
such a cuter name. Fur babies. It's so cute. It's like what people call their dogs. Like, oh, I have a dog. Stupid. Oh, I have a fur baby. Oh.
No, it's really.
If I
annoying.
told you I had a Furby at home, you'd be like, you're a loser.
Not if I.
But if I say like, hey, I got a
Furby's
Furby.
like my child.
My Furby's like my
God.
child, you would literally slap me. But you could say your dog's like your child, and it's cool. So I would tell you my fur baby is like my child, and then when y'all go to my place and you find out my fur baby's a Furby, we'll just have that conversation in private.
Yeah. Or you could say, "Oh yeah, no, you heard me wrong. I said Furby."
No, true.
What would you call a Furby? Would be a fur baby.
All right, we ready for
On that note,
Circle?
McFurby.
Book circle. All right. Book.
Reading radius.
Book bash. Rating radius.
The reading. I think the reading radius is great, man. It's like we have like the little like rainbow circle, and we really just have a star at the front with the
Well,
rainbow.
actually,
that
I really
follows
hoping
it.
editing
well,
that
technically,
happens
a
on our
rainbow, like you can have a full
Reading
360 rainbow.
radius.
Can you repeat that?
Like technically, you can have a full like 360 rainbow.
Would that be an Ouroboros?
Well, kind of. I mean, yeah, it's the shape of the.
Since it has a hole in the center, it's not like a whole circle because circles don't have a hole, right?
Ouroboros.
Wait, what?
Ouroboros is a shape. It's a ring.
Yeah, it's like the.
Oh.
It's a ring.
It's
the
like
shape
the
of a
like
ring.
the snake.
Like a bagel.
It's like
Yes.
snake eating its
not a
own
circle.
tail.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, but
Like it signifies, rebirth and cyclical.
some might say it's the whole reason we have wedding rings.
Orbis.
The Ouroboros.
Ouroboros, yeah.
It's supposed to represent eternal, like whatever. And supposedly, I could be wrong. like in countries like Crete and stuff like that back in the day.
Who's
Crete?
that company that
Like
owns it all?
Crete or Crete?
Oh,
what
Crete?
Crete.
Oh, the island. Oh, yeah.
Look, Greek, Roman
Yeah.
philosopher people.
Yeah, Crete. Yeah, the island of Crete.
Island of Crete, Crete, right? All right, that area. I know. Like, I thought like they would like wear like bands back in the pagan days when they would get married, and so like when the Roman, I could be wrong, but I think that they adopted that in the culture because it was done in like pagan times in the Roman culture when it was switching over to like the monotheistic instead of polytheistic. And so back then it was more of like the Ouroboros symbol, which is like eternity and stuff, since it's like always consuming itself or whatever. And it's also in the ring shape, and the term Ouroboros is actually like the 3D shape, I believe, or the shape of what a ring is. It's like what they believe the shape of our solar system or universe is, or whatever, like the little bagel.
Oh, like
As Hannah
the
would
dual
call it.
Taurus. Yeah, the Taurus.
Is it Taurus then? Maybe it is Taurus.
Well,
I thought it was
is
an
a-
Ouroboros.
Well, it's,
Maybe Ouroboros is
well,
the actual,
Ouroboros
like,
is not the topological.
Oh,
it's,
you're right. Ouroboros
it's
would
more
be
of like
the actual like
yeah.
animal. It's the dragon. It is the
It's the
symbology
serpent,
of
yeah.
the actual serpent doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But
The
the Taurus
shape
is
is
the
the Taurus,
shape. You are
yeah.
right. But it's it has the same.
And then in topology,
You're
it's
right.
interesting. Like so
Scratch
they say,
that.
like a donut is the same shape as a coffee cup.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, when you look at it from this direction, it is.
Okay,
Well,
we got a little
besides-
sidetracked.
Sorry.
So, you know.
We can just cut that out. College dumb.
This was what segment was that one? We can give it a name.
Callian looking dumb segment.
That's our most popular segment.
Yeah, just have a Cal blooper segment and just pull out all the like not correct facts. Like
And we can
segment,
just-
like
Fact
literally
check.
just like
Start off the segment at the end of that video we
fake
did.
news segment.
Yeah.
We'll call it the faked fact segment and be like, fake fact.
and
then, like,
believe it or don't.
Well, no, dude, we could record me like on a little podium real quick,
Don't
like down the
believe it or not.
downstairs ion
Yes.
podium, and then we'll just have Ryan or like Fernando say something like, fake fact. And like just go back to looking at the camera, and then we'll just start it with
And
that.
then,
And like,
wait, once you say something, like we can pause the video and then have like a little, like text that says, actually, in fact, this is really what.
Literally just
I don't know,
all the
man. We don't
time.
have to put those in the videos. We just pull them out, and then
Country.
we have our little like 15, 20 second, 30 second blooper reel that like Cal just said a complete fake thing, and we just call it fake facts. And then
Fake
we just do
facts.
that one recording downstairs of just being like, fake, no, wrong. I feel bad for every debater that had to debate Trump. No one was prepared for that. Like, you are taught to debate. You are not taught to talk to a child.
We could call it
No.
couch.
Like, I mean, you get on a debate. Dude, in 10th grade, could you imagine being on a debate team? You're sitting there debating, and then the kid just looks over and he's like, wrong.
Fake
Like-
news.
Like, yeah, but what? Wrong? You can't fight that. Like,
We got Lion Ted over here.
I could
dead in
fight
the
it.
water. Like, you're
I
just
could
like,
fight it.
yeah, okay. Let's try it out. Let's go downstairs.
Yeah, you
Let's
beat
do a
Trump.
debate. We'll do an ion debate downstairs. We'll record it. We'll rent the stage. We'll do a debate. And I'm going to debate like that the whole time. And be like, wrong. And then just like, everyone's going to be like, wrong.
All right, so for today's reading radius book bash segment, I brought this book called Building a Second Brain. So I found a nice little summary that kind of basically explains more or less what it's about.
Can I ask you before you start, how many books do you read? Like, how many books do you currently read at once?
Oh gosh,
Like,
it's I mean, I don't know. I probably have like 7 or 8 going.
oh wow, that's really awesome, man.
Yeah, it's it pros and cons. I mean,
It's
because
super cool.
I kind of go with like what I'm feeling at the moment. Like
Mhm.
sometimes I'll feel like something
Yeah.
science related. Other times just fiction. Other times it's like I want to read like history.
Yeah.
So it takes me a while to get through books,
Mhm.
but
You do it per what you actually want to read.
Yeah, yeah, and then there'll be like a time where like I'll finish like 3 or 4 in one
That's
because
cool.
I've been going infinity.
Mm.
Interesting.
That's how many books you're reading at once.
Well, I'm converging towards the. Yeah, too little time to read. I know. I have a little bit of an obsession. I go to bookstores. I buy a lot, and I buy more than I can read at a time. But yeah,
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, all good.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, it's kind of related because we tend to like consume a lot of information from here, from there, a lot of stuff which we may not be able to utilize at the very moment, but it's useful. It'll come down the line. It could, come in handy. So building a second brain is a concept. It's not. This is not the book that invented the concept. This concept probably existed from a long time, but it kind of makes it into like a structured kind of model. But basically, the idea is to take all of this information that you're consuming, you're taking from notes and reading and videos or whatever, and compile it all in one central place, like a digital place that you can then, sort it, put it into a database, recall later, and essentially it becomes kind of like the second brain that you can tap into. Let's see,
So this is like creating like an actual like a database from that point, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Like certain things you want to have communicated or whatever.
It's almost like a filing system for the information that you consume.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference, because a lot of people have notebooks, and I love tactile.
Mm-hmm.
But then the problem is I'll write notes in this notebook, and then I'll write notes in that notebook,
Yeah.
and then I'll have something on this app, and then I'll have something in my recorder. And the idea is it's good, but it gets lost, and then you can't. It's hard to recall, hard to sort. So having it in one central place with like a organized filing system, it's easier to like cross-reference and compile it, recall it at a later time. Have like set projects or places where you put it away. So writer and photographer Craig Maud wrote, "There is a gaping opportunity to consolidate our myriad marginalia into an even more robust commonplace book. One searchable, always accessible, easily shared, and embedded amongst the digital text we consume." So that's basically, like, in a nutshell, what the idea is.
No, that wasn't for you.
Okay. And
Sometimes I write sideways.
And then the other one is just to complement that one. It says, information isn't a luxury, it's the very basis of our survival. Just as with the food we put into our bodies, it is our responsibility and right to choose our information diet. It's up to us to decide what information is good for us, what we want more of and less of, and ultimately what we do with it. You are what you consume, and that applies just as much to information as to nutrition. And that kind of ties in well with like brain soup.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's very
So yeah,
interesting.
just I recommend it.
So it's interesting.
It's something
about
that I've been doing. I've been using Notion, but any like platform really
Notion
is good. Like,
Sign of the times, bro. You're behind.
yeah. What do you?
I got a segment. You continue.
Oh,
I got your answer.
No, I think I'm pretty good. So I'm gonna pass it over to Cal. And
No, it's going to Ryan next. I'm
I
finishing
think
this
we're all
one.
interested to hear what you have to say.
No. I want to
Especially
see.
with
I want
that.
to see what Ryan thinks about it first before because I think this is neat because. So I want to hear what Ryan says.
So yeah, okay. So my thoughts here are things I've researched in the past with AI and stuff is like building these databases that you're able to kind of pull from related to specific things. So like if you have a sales team or something using AI to get on calls and actually pull from that specific data that maybe you've answered a ton of calls in the past. You can take this historical data and it can read from that on how to structure its responses. Like if let's say the AI was on a Zoom call instead of me.
Yeah. And it can kind of be used like specifically for like work or whatever, but the idea, at least me personally, I kind of view it as more like my second brain, where like work is one of the aspects. But then I have like projects, and then I have like a reading list, and then I have like you can have a calendar, and you can have like it's kind of like personal life, work life. It can all kind of be
ties it all in
under this umbrella. But then you have a sorting system where you can kind of like go by project based, project by project, and then like different sections, areas. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of apply it specifically towards like just work or something. But this is, for me at least, I'm trying to apply it more like just more general. As a person, you can build your second brain, and then you can use it to help you and apply it in different areas like work and personal and projects. And
I'm assuming that Notion like allows, because I've used Notion before at a very like high level. Like I only use it for a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, I like Notion just because it's very flexible and you can do so much. You have,
But it can be also used for like projects and stuff. So I think we had it. In
you can
our
do project
process,
management now.
like-
I say there's things that like I still use Trello and other things, you know, for other specific things. You can do project management within Notion. You can set up like Kanban style and then link it to, you know, database style. You can switch between views and all of that. It's very flexible and there's a lot of templates, so that's one of the benefits. There's definitely a lot better programs for different kind of you know, more specific needs.
Got
But
it.
like for like that mix of note taking and that's me. Mix of note taking and organization and database and integration. Notion is a good tool. There's other like note taking
Yeah.
platforms that are good as well.
Shout out to Notion.
So Notion does have an export button, right? You can press export, pull out the words you want, put it into a document. So it's like a source document you could ever use for yourself, right?
I mean, he's used it more than me. So
I'm saying, right?
I've
So-
actually only started pretty recently.
But I believe it has an export button where you can export out into like a PDF or
I'm
you
pretty sure it does.
stuff like that,
Probably,
right?
And then
So
yeah.
back in December, I found an app made by Google. Came out in like end of December. It's called Notebook LM. So Notebook Learning Module, right? Or model, right? Notebook Learning Model. And so basically what it allows you to do is you can create different notebooks for different projects, right? And inside of each notebook, you can put different sources. But the notebook is actually written to be just like ChatGPT, because that's what people think, but it's written with Google's AI system. And what it does is it has the same level that Google's AI system is at. However, it weights your sources higher. And then you can ask a question, be like, so when I've worked on board games, I have one for all the games that I kind of written up like the core basic rule books or like thoughts of. And then I have one that I have just for like the game I'm working on now, the ocean ship combat game, right? And in those I can ask, what are the different types of tokens I use in this game? And it'll go through all my sources and say, this token, this token, this token, and it cites your sources where you can click it and it goes to where it's cited and highlights it for you. So like,
Wow.
Yeah, Notion
in a
does have some
sense-
AI integration where you can do that and ask it. But I mean, if Google has like such a wealth. So yeah, I mean.
So what
That
I
sounds interesting.
Yeah, what I feel like it was like is everyone got so hyped on ChatGPT, right? Because like you could ask it all the questions and it gave you all these answers and stuff. I feel like ChatGPT now is just your fun fact friend, right? And I feel like Notebook LM is like your Watson to Sherlock, right? Like Watson had all this information just like your fun fact friend, but he would only answer the questions for Sherlock that were relative to that episode or book.
Wait, who?
Like Watson for Sherlock Holmes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, like Watson was kind of this person that was always helping Sherlock doing things, right? And I feel like in a sense, like he might have had all this knowledge of other things, right? And he's helping Sherlock, but he always was answering things in relation to the crime at hand or the mystery at hand, right? He wasn't just like, fun fact, bunch of people die in London every day. That's like,
Yeah.
and that's where I feel like Notebook LM is really cool. If you haven't done it, you should check it out. Try
I
it.
will.
It's awesome. It's a Google product, so it's probably going to be graveyarded in about a year.
Well, Notion is Atlassian, so they make good products as well.
I mean,
But
Google
I'll
makes
have
great
to-
products too. They just make a lot of them.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I mean, it sounds really, and you know, their AI seems very promising from all the like Gemini.
I love
and, like all that.
I love it. Since I found it, I love it.
Yeah.
It's. I still use ChatGPT sometimes, but you can pretty much do everything inside of that. What I use ChatGPT now for is what I call agents. So every chat in my ChatGPT is actually like a different kind of like person. So I start every chat as like, can you role play as this type of person and give me a character sheet of them? And I can literally show you, I say, and write this as a character sheet. And it literally writes them into a character sheet like style with a bio and background.
Yeah,
So
well, I
Like what
use it-
schools
I-
they went to and everything, right? So I can always go back and ask them, but then each chat is labeled as the person, not the chat.
I kind of love that.
And
yeah.
so I just talk to my agents whenever I want to talk to them. So I have my project manager, I have my marketing person, I have my salesperson, I have my international salesperson because I only ask them international style questions, like time zone differences or like things like that, which I don't do very often at all. But every once in a while I have a few questions and I don't want to bog down my other one with possible like other information. And
That's
so,
beautiful. I mean, I remember early days before this new thing. Was,
I don't know if this is actually for this. We're just talking. I think we're done, aren't we?
I
Are
don't
we
know.
done?
Still going.
Oh, I thought we were done because we did all the book corners. We did all our 3
We haven't
sections.
closed out yet.
Whoa, I thought we were just chatting.
No.
No.
Oh, we'll continue then.
Well, yeah, this is still
Whoa.
good stuff.
Thought that was a wrap.
Wait, do you guys want to wrap?
No, we're finishing this. Like I thought that we were just having this discussion afterwards.
No, this is the continuation of the book.
That's
I
fine.
I don't just mention the book. We
Yeah,
chat
no,
about
that's
it.
fine. I thought that was done because I had done my 2 segment last.
Oh, right.
So
So,
like
talking about you, right?
No, because
I finished. So it's good.
we're gonna like we're gonna have to put up the screaming like raging like meme, the triggered meme.
Fact
on
check.
that one.
Fact check. We are not done.
Yeah, fact
That's
check. We're
good.
not done.
Another fake news.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But anyway, like, I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
like so Magic Flow initially when I was using that was like this thing you could set these like different PMs and other roles. This makes me excited. This is definitely exciting. That sounds like they scaled this whole like platform out with what you can do, set up these different brains.
It's the first.
cool.
It's to me. It's the first time I've been able to use AI in a true utility way,
Really?
and not just a way where like it's cool. So like
I've
and when
used it-
I-
I've
no,
used
no,
ChatGPT
when I
for,
say
like,
no,
with
hold on,
utility
hold on,
from,
so
like,
no,
the
I've
beginning.
always used ChatGPT to ask questions and stuff like that, right? And like research.
Yeah.
But I feel like this was like finding like Notebook LM was the first time like I felt like it was ingrained in something I already was doing.
That's fair.
Like now that I have my, because
I
you
mean-
can write notes. It lets you write notes
Yeah.
in it, right? Like it has a little note section. And then the neat part too is you can like, so I have like all my sources that always stay standard, right? And then I have like one section that's like my notes of that information. And so that I update anytime I change my notes on my paperwork. And it might not be like, it's written in note form, right? It's not like an actual source document per se. And so that's always changing. And so like that information can change, but I can apply notes like over here and you can like apply it to a source if you want to. Or you can always re-update your sources when you edit them.
Yeah,
and
there's
things.
more like transferability of.
Yeah, but I want to
cross
see it like
application.
what the reason I was saying like utility is like I instantly feel like I could see it for like a lawyer, or I could see it for like a resident, like a property manager, right?
Yeah.
Is for you to be able to put all your contracts in there and like just say like, in a sense like a question about like what is the average square footage, or like you know how many people like have a corner thing, like questions
I've
you might
used- I
actually
mean-
have in your documents but would require you to look them up.
Well, I've used like different ways I've used ChatGPT. Like, so I've been building a trading card game with like different mechanics and stuff. I had notes of like the rules and like mechanics kind of all over the place, and I wanted to put it together in like a concise instruction. I gathered it all together. I put it in. And I asked it, okay, can you put a set of instructions that is clear, concise, and structured. And it put it all together. It understood the mechanics, and then I started asking, okay, now create new mechanics.
But what I'm trying to say is like Notebook LM has that in it. Like
Yeah.
it's there. Like that exact
Right.
feature you use ChatGPT for is like base core feature that's come standard in Notebook LM. What makes Notebook LM different, or like in the startup world, the sauce, is that you have the different projects that you can put different sources
like
in
project
it.
based, right?
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like I used to use my ChatGPT already
Kind of in
almost
that way, yeah,
format,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
Now
used
you
it
have
as
it-
agents.
yeah, it's not
But
designed that
now
way.
I can have essentially like
More structure there.
more structure for like sources, right?
Yeah.
Now and that's what I'm saying. It's like my Watson now.
What's the cost structure?
It's free right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a Google product.
Yeah,
Starts out free. It's gotta.
right. Yeah.
How do they get our data?
No,
if
it
they
sounds
charge?
great. I mean, honestly, it sounds
Yeah,
great.
check it out, man. Check it out. It's
I'm gonna
not
check it
it's not
out.
an app on your phone yet, but you can do like if you have Google Chrome, you can like go to the actual website. Any kind of Chrome website page you go to, as long as you're using Chrome, you go to a little like option thing at the top. You go to like save and share, or like share and save or whatever, and then it says like create shortcut. Click that. Click the little button that says open as new window, and it pops up as its own little app on your launch bar. You can look through in your start menu, your launch pad. It can dock it, and you can pin it to your taskbar.
Cool.
Sounds great. Yeah.
So, and you can do that with ChatGPT and any other product too.
Yeah.
That's a regular website on Google Chrome.
Cool.
So
Perfect.
make your life easier. Use apps how they're supposed to be as software apps.
Beauty.
Sweet. Anything to
Uh,
add on the?
I mean, I think that's a good
Second brain
shout out to
or-
them too. We got a few shout outs today. Killing it, I guess. They get the sauce coming out. So
You're welcome, Google.
yeah,
They need our help.
yeah, they need us.
They really need us.
They need us. We are the top advertisers. Apparently,
Like I'm just saying, without Brain Soup, where would Google be?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Be in a different world.
World I would never want to live in.
All right, cool. I guess, yeah, with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Brain Suit today. Make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and comment. Let us know your feedback, what you guys are thinking, and, you know, we'll always be here.
Feel free to fact check us.
Yeah, fact check us. That's the fun part, probably, finding all the flubs. However, yeah, tune in next week for another Brain Soup, and we're looking forward to talking with you guys again.
Bye.
Bye.